This quick lesson is on the importance of the periodic table. Have you ever thought about why the periodic table exists, how marvelous it is, what its properties are? Or are you more likely to think about it in terms of what do I need to know about this for the test? Well, you're in luck. The periodic table actually helps you learn material you have to know for the test without adding to what you have to memorize. Once you've learned how the table works, then it's a piece of cake. You don't have to memorize everything. So let's take a quick tour of what you need to know about the periodic table.
So here we see a complete view of the periodic table. Across the top you see the label group, that's the columns, and down the side you see the label period for the rows. This is a pretty full periodic table, way more than we need in introductory anatomy and physiology. Let's just cut it down a little bit. And now what you see is that we just have the main columns, and we've cut out all of the exotic elements that are not going to be important in biology. Makes it a little easier to handle. We're going to cut it down even further in just a minute. Now let's start by explaining the idea of the columns and the rows. Sometimes people get columns and rows backwards, so to make it easy for you to remember, let's just visualize a column. Columns go up and down, and so each column, 1, 2, 3, and so forth, all the way up to 8, includes those things aligned vertically. And then there are the rows, like a row of student desks. Rows go across, and again there's a first row, notice it only has 2 elements, and then second row, third row, and so forth. Now we really don't even need this many elements, so let's just narrow it down to the ones that we do need. Here you see that we really aren't going to consider anything bigger than calcium with atomic number 20, and in row 4. Okay, so we have this kind of narrowed down to just the first 20 elements, and we're just trying to learn about the periodic table for now. So let's make sure we get those columns and rows straight. The column number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 represents the number of electrons in a valence level. The valence level is the outermost level of each atom, and it can have anywhere from 1 to 8 electrons in it for these atoms up to atomic number 20. The row number indicates the number of energy levels needed by atoms of each element to contain the electrons that they have. We'll know how many electrons that is by looking at the atomic number. The atomic number is the number of protons in an atom, but in a neutral atom the atomic number also tells you how many electrons there are. So let's start with an example. We'll start with lithium, which is atomic number 3. And if you look at lithium, it has a nucleus with 3 protons and 3 neutrons. And then it has a first energy level, which can only hold up to 2 electrons. So our third little lone electron has to go in a second energy level. And if you look back at lithium on the periodic table, you see that it is in row 2, column 1, indicating that there is 1 electron in the second energy level. Let's take a look again, and there you see it. Column 1 tells you 1 valence electron, row 2 means there are 2 energy level, and that adds up to 1, 2, 3, which equals the atomic number. Okay, so let's try again with something a little bit bigger. This time we'll work with silicon. Silicon is atomic number 16. So there are 16 protons and about the same number of neutrons in the nucleus of an atom of silicon. There are going to be 2 electrons in the first energy level. There are going to be 8 electrons in the second energy level because that's the most electrons you can put in the second energy level. So far that adds up to 10, leaving 6 electrons to go in the third energy level. Notice please that electrons do tend to pair up. There are about 4 different positions within an energy level where electrons can be found. So to summarize for silicon, it's in column 6. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 valence electrons. It's in row 3, so it has 1, 2, 3 energy levels. And with atomic number 16, it has 16 electrons, 2 in the first energy level, 8 in the second, and 6 in the third.